We want to turn to a landmark case for the Supreme Court this morning. Justices will hear arguments today over President Trump's travel ban, testing the limits of the power of the Oval Office. The executive order restricts travel from 7 countries, 5 of them predominantly Muslim. Joining us now, Fox News senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, good to see you.
Good morning.
What's the central question here?
Is this a Muslim ban, or is this a proper exercise of foreign power? Almost a fact question rather than a law question. The Supreme Court is not in a position to evaluate facts. So how do they make a determination like this? They look at everything that's been said about it. So if you look at what candidate Donald Trump said about this, there's a lot of evidence that it's a Muslim ban. If you look at what President
Because of his statements.
Right. He said some inflammatory things to gin up the base, and it succeeded. If you look at what President Donald Trump has said about it, out of his own mouth and through pleadings that his DOJ, his Department of Justice, has filed, you could conclude it as a proper exercise of foreign power because there's a statute specifically saying the president can restrict immigration from certain geographic areas for certain finite periods of time for national security reasons.
Is this a case where a Twitter account becomes a central evidentiary figure?
Yes.
Yes,
and I'm sorry to say that because some of the things he said are really indefensible in a courtroom, but I understand why he said them and when he said them, and as I said, they succeeded in ginning up the voters. The question is, does the court want to look at the words of the candidate? There is legal authority on both sides. You only look at the person when they're in office. You can look at the whole person. But this really comes down to one person. It's not Donald Trump. Anthony Kennedy, the swing vote on the court. You have 4 conservatives, Justice Gorsuch having replaced Justice Scalia, who probably would say this is a proper exercise of the president's foreign policy powers under the Constitution, enhanced by Congress, as Congress may, that incidentally falls on more Muslims than anybody else. You have 4 liberals who will say the president has been saying for months, even years, he wants to stop Muslims. Who are you kidding? It's a Muslim ban. I'm summarizing the arguments. Then you have Justice Anthony Kennedy in the middle, who will probably, as is frequently the case with this justice, make the decision. I could give you a better indication of which way it's going to go after we hear the oral argument later today.
Meanwhile, there's this. A 3rd federal judge is now rejecting the Trump administration's reasons for ending the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, the DACA program. The Trump administration now has 90 days to challenge this ruling before reinstating the DACA in its entirety. What did the judge say in this ruling, Judge?
We were just talking about this during the break, and whatever you think about the exercise of human compassion with respect to people who came here as infants, this judge basically said a discretionary, policy-driven program of the Obama administration now has the force of law in the Trump administration. In my opinion, that is dead wrong. This was the discretion of the president when the president was Barack Obama. This president should not be compelled to continue the program. But it looks like he's going to be. Every time DACA is challenged, the president loses.
So it's not just the deadline as far as now where the program is. He's got to continue it?
So we have 2. This is the 3rd ruling against him. The first 2 have said you don't have to put anybody new on the program, but you can't kick anybody out. This one has said you have to accept every applicant that satisfies the Barack Obama standards when this program came out, when my namesake, Janet Napolitano, no relation, announced the program during the first administration of President Obama. So we are almost back to square one on DACA. DAPA, that's the Deferred Action for Parent Arrivals, has been found unconstitutional, and that's been upheld by the appellate courts. DACA, as of last night, is alive and well, as if Barack Obama were still the president.
Wow, that's incredible, actually.
Where is this going to go?
Yeah.
It's going to go right to where the travel ban is today. It's going to go to the Supreme Court eventually. This is a judge in Washington, D.C., so it'll be appealed in 90 days, as Maria said, to the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit, and then to the Supreme Court. You know how long that'll take? 2 years.
Yeah.
during the course of which this will probably stay in effect.
Meanwhile, there's this caravan of hundreds of illegal immigrants making its way to the U.S.-Mexico border. Dozens of the 600 traveling in the caravan arrived at the border city of Tijuana last night. Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen has said her agency plans to prosecute any members of the caravan who enter the country illegally. Your take on this?
It is not a crime to enter the country illegally, but they.
Wait a second, it's not a crime. It's illegal.
It's illegal, but it's not a crime. So prosecution is not the right word. It's a civil violation.
All right.
It's a crime to enter the country illegally after you've been deported. That you get prosecuted for. But the problem is, once they set foot in the United States, they are entitled to a hearing. You can't have that hearing right away. They have to be confined, not in a jail, but in some confinement facility for which the federal government is not prepared down there. They are confined at taxpayer expense, and then you have to have the hearing before an administrative law judge.
Look at all these people.
It's a well-organized caravan.
Yes,
there's another network.
Again, we're talking about this during the break.
That's been broadcasting. They have a reporter, basically an embed, traveling with the caravan.
This is not a random...
Who set this up, George Soros?
Just about. I don't know if it's him personally, but it is an organization like the ones that he funds. This is not a random group of people.
Right.
This is a direct, organized challenge to the president's efforts to secure the border. And they know once they take one step in, they're entitled to show at a hearing that they're legitimate political refugees. One interesting point is the Supreme Court has ruled they are not entitled to free lawyers. They can get lawyers if they can afford it, or George Soros or somebody like that is going to pay for it, but they are not entitled to government lawyers at these hearings.
It's all extraordinary. Judge, thank you.
This, too, will take months.
Wow. Adrian Napolitano there.